Hello, class 11th student. Today again I am going to start chapter first. Topic is introduction. This is part 2. In the previous video we had learned about what economics is about. What do you mean by economy? Okay? In today's video we are going to discuss about micro and macroeconomics, positive and normative economics, organization of economic activities. Within that we are going to discuss about types of economy. So in this way, in today's video we are going to cover three topics. Okay, micro and macroeconomics, positive and normative economics, types of economics, economy. Okay student, and we had completed what do you mean by economics. So what do you mean by economics? Economics is a social science of human behavior which aims at allocation of scarce resources in such a way that producer can maximize their profit, consumer can maximize their satisfaction, and society can maximize social welfare. Okay, and why it is known as a social science? Because it is a study of human behavior, it is a study of economic activities. Okay student, so that is why it is a social science. Okay, and it is related to what? It is related to making best utilization of what? Scarce resources. Okay, scarce resources means what? So scarcity of resources means when demand of any commodity, suppose that commodity is X, so demand of any commodity is greater than supply of that commodity. Yani if suppose there is X commodity, we are talking about X commodity, so if there is more demand for X in compared to its supply, so this condition is known as a scarcity of resources. So this is known as a scarcity of resources. Okay, then we had learned about what do you mean by economic problem. The economic problem is what? Making choice in presence of scarce resources is known as an economic problem. And we everyone face this problem every day. Okay, but we not familiar with the term ki yeah we are facing economic problem. Actually whenever we are making the selection now, so we are doing what? We are doing we are facing economic problem. Like suppose if you are going to purchase packet of milk, so there are not only one brand, there are too many brands. Okay, Mother Dairy, Parag, more brands are there. So which one you are going to pick up? So you have to take the decision now. So this is what? This is economic problem. Okay, and why we faces economic problem? Because of three reasons. Okay, wants are unlimited. We having unlimited wants. Why I am saying ki wants are unlimited? Because when one want is completed, another wants come to take place it. Okay, like suppose if you desire to have a dress, when you purchase it, now again there is something in your mind to purchase new type of dress. Okay, so this is human nature. Okay, so that is why human wants are unlimited. Okay, and the second thing, the second feature of want is that ki wants are differ in urgency. Yani ki all wants are not equally important. Okay, like take the example, suppose आपके एडमिशन्स स्टार्ट हो रहे हैं, तो आपके घर में सपोज करिए कि मैरिज सेरेमनी है, तो आपके गार्जियन को डिसीज़न लेना होगा कि दे वांट टू परचेज स्टेशनरी आइटम, दे वांट टू पेमेंट to school for your fees, or there is most important to purchase party wear dresses. Obviously any rational person is going to first one option. Yani ki any rational guardian or parents is going to first admit you in a school and purchase all the stationery item. Okay, so this is what ki we want lot of things, but all things are not equally important. Okay, on the other hand, if you talk about resources means yani ki if you talk about a person, so means income, so income is limited. If you talk about economy, तो resources या means land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. तो किसी भी कंट्री के लिए या किसी भी पर्सन के लिए ये क्या होते हैं, लिमिटेड होते हैं. ओके, और इन लिमिटेड रिसोर्सेज से हमें क्या करना होता है, अपने अनलिमिटेड वॉट्स को हम फुलफिल करना चाहते हैं. तो दैट इज़ वाई वी आर फेसिंग इकोनॉमिक problem. Okay, so let me start. We had make a quick revision. Now I'm going to start our today topic, that is micro and macro economics. So let me start it. So first of all, what is microeconomics and what is macroeconomics? Actually there are too much confusion also, and there is question about syllabus. So initially, if you go to the 2 year back, so micro economics and macroeconomics, okay, both are taught in 12th class. Okay student, but now syllabus has changed. Now micro you are going to study in your 11th, and macro you are going to study in your class 12th. Okay, so but here we are going to understand what is microeconomics and what is macroeconomics. Okay, so let me understand it. It is very easy. Okay, so let me understand it, what is microeconomics and what is macroeconomics. So here I am going to write micro and here I am going to write macro. Okay, so one thing you have to keep in your mind, that this I stand for individual. This I stand for individual, and this A stand for aggregate. This A stand for aggregate. Okay student, now micro is the study of individual units. It is the study of individual units. Okay, so individual units yani ki in micro we are going to study about a consumer. Okay, about a producer, about income of a buyer. Okay, price of a commodity, yani good. Okay, on the other hand, in macroeconomics it is a study of aggregate means what, it is a study of all. Okay, जो भी इकॉनमी में जितने भी प्रोड्यूसर्स हैं या जितने भी कंज्यूमर्स हैं या जितनी भी कमोडिटीज़ एंड सर्विसेज प्रोड्यूस हो रही हैं, उन सभी का स्टडी हम किस में करेंगे, मैक्रो में. ओके, सो मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स इज़ रिलेटेड टू स्टडी ऑफ एग्रीगेट्स फैक्ट्स ऑफ एन इकोनॉमी. फॉर एग्जांपल, इट इज़ स्टडी ऑफ all consumer. Okay, that is known as a household sector. It is a study of all producer. That is known as a producer sector. Okay, here it is a study of income of a buyer. Here it is a study of national income. It is a study of all individual, यानी कि national income. Okay student, it is a study of price of a commodity, and it is a study of general price level. Okay, So I think you are able to understand. Micro means I stand for individual. In macro, A stand for aggregate. Micro, in the microeconomics we are going to study only individual unit, यानी कि a consumer, we are going to study about a producer, about a firm, about an industry, okay, income of a consumer, price of a commodity, how a price of commodity is decided, okay. On the other hand, if you talk about the macroeconomics, so in macroeconomics we are not going to study individual, we are going to study about all the consumer that is in economy, यानी कि we are going to study about household sector, okay. We are going to study about all the producers, it's mean we are going to talk about producer sector, okay. Here it is a study of income of a buyer, here it is a study of national income. National income means income of all person, okay. And here it is related to determination of price of a product, it is related to determination of price of, it is related to general price label, यानी कि price of all goods and services, okay student. So in simple language, microeconomics, it is a study of individual unit. Microeconomics is a study of individual units, okay, of an economy. Macroeconomics, A यानी aggregate, okay. So it is a study of economy as a whole. So it is a study of economy as a whole, okay. And A stand for aggregate, so you can write also it is a study of aggregates of the economy, okay. And its example, it is a study of income of a buyer, यहाँ पे national income. So I think you are able to understand. Now let me understand with the help of the book. So here microeconomics, first of all we are going to discuss about microeconomics. So the term micro, M-I-C-R-O, micro, in English language has its origin in the Greek word, okay, and Greek word micros. तो micro कहाँ से derived किया गया है? Greek word micros, okay. And what is the meaning of micros? Which means small. So in this way it study economic activity of an economic unit, like demand for salt by an individual household, or economic activity of a small group of economic unit, like demand for salt by all the household, okay. So here it is only demand of salt. And if you talk about the macroeconomics, so then we are going to discuss that demand of all goods and services by all the buyers. So this will be content of macro. If I am going to study, if I had written demand of mango by Ram, so this is what? This is micro. If I write demand of mango, no, not mango, demand of all goods and services by buyer, then it is macroeconomics, okay. Here if supply of all goods and services, then it is macro. Supply of pen, yeah, supply of pencil, so this is micro. So in micro we are going to discuss only one, individual, single, okay. And macro is related to study of all. So micro thus include the study of demand theory, production theory, price determination and factor pricing, okay. So in when you learn microeconomics, so further the chapter is demand theory, production theory, price determination and factor pricing. So these are the subject matter, these are the things that you are going to study in this subject, okay student. So I think you are able to understand this much. The term Macro has been derived from the Greek word micros, which means what? Which means small. And micro, I stand for individual, so it is a study of individual units of an economy. For example, income of a buyer. Okay. Now, macroeconomics. So the term macro in English language has its origin in the Greek word macros, which means large. So macro means what? Large. It studies economic activity related टू इकॉनमी एज अ होल. तो ये पूरी की पूरी इकॉनमी को स्टडी हम करते हैं, किसी एक को नहीं करते हैं. मैक्रो में पूरी इकॉनमी को हम स्टडी करते हैं, और माइक्रो में हम किसी एक बायर, किसी एक प्रोड्यूसर, या फिर किसी एक फर्म, या केवल किसी एक इंडस्ट्री को स्टडी करते हैं. दैट इज़ द डिफरेंस. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इट स्टडी एग्रीगेट डिमांड for all goods and services in the economy. In the previous slide, there is given a demand of salt by all the consumer या all the buyer. So here in that there is only one product, that is salt, but here is what? All goods and services. So this is what? This is macroeconomics. Macroeconomics deals with aggregates such as national income, total employment, general price level. So that is the subject matter या content of macroeconomics that you are going to study in your class 12th. Okay student? Now, so that trick I had given you, that is written here. The letter I stand for individual. So in this way it study economic behavior of individual. A stand for aggregate. So it study economy as a whole. Aggregate का मतलब all. Now, with this differentiation, I think there will be no doubt, no problem, and definitely you are going to understand this concept properly. So what is the difference between microeconomics and macroeconomics? So first of all, with the help of the meaning. So what do you mean by microeconomics? So microeconomics is that part of economy theory which study behavior of individual units of economy. और आप चाहो तो directly लिख सकते हो microeconomics is the study of individual units of economy. Okay. Now macroeconomics is that part of economy theory which studies the behavior of aggregates of economy as a whole. Okay. Now tools. So how you will study in microeconomics? So what is the tool? Demand and supply. Here is what? It is a study of aggregate now. So it will become aggregate demand and aggregate supply. Now basic objective. तो इसका objective क्या होता है? It is related to determination of price of a commodity या फिर price of a factor. यहाँ पे हम किसी एक commodity की price को determine कैसे करते हैं, इसको study करते हैं. In the macroeconomics, we study how the level of income या employment level is determined that all people are going to get employment. यानी here in macroeconomics we are going to search that level of income where all the people are able to get employment. यानी we are going to search full employment income level. तो it is related to determination of full employment level of income, or it is related to determination of price of a commodity. Remember, एक commodity के price से relate करता है. Now degree of aggregation. So यहाँ पे degree of aggregation, यहाँ पे limited utilization होता है, like market demand. Okay, and how we drive market demand? By aggregating individual demand of all the buyer in the particular market. For example, salt का दिया था ना, salt, demand of salt by all the consumer, it is the maximum use of aggregate. ठीक है. On the other hand, if you talk about the एग्रीगेशन इन मैक्रोइकोनॉमिक्स, तो यहाँ पे इसको हाईएस्ट डिग्री में यूज़ करते हैं. हाउ? क्योंकि यहाँ पे डिमांड ऑफ वन कमोडिटी की बात नहीं होती, डिमांड ऑफ ऑल गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज बाय ऑल. सो यहाँ पे हाईएस्ट लेवल पे एग्रीगेशन का यूज़ होता है. ओके. नाउ बेसिक एजम्पशंस. सो बेसिक एजम्पशंस, इट एज्यूम ऑल मैक्रो वेरिएबल टू बी कांस्टेंट. देखो, माइक्रो में मैक्रो कांस्टेंट होगा और मैक्रो में माइक्रो वेरिएबल कांस्टेंट होगा, यानी जस्ट अपोजिट कर देना है आपको. ठीक है. When you are studying micro, the macro variable is going to be constant. When you are studying macroeconomics, then micro variable is going to be constant. Okay, so what is macro variable? Macro variable yani national income, consumption, saving, these are going to be constant. Okay, if you talk about macroeconomics, so in macroeconomics micro variable is going to be constant. And micro variable क्या होते हैं? Like decision of a household, firm, price of individual product. Okay, now what is other name of microeconomics? Its other name is price theory. Why its name is price theory? Because ultimate aim of this subject is to determination of price of a product. यहाँ पे हम ये स्टडी करते हैं कि किसी भी कमोडिटी की प्राइस कैसे डिसाइड होती है. कैसे डिसाइड होती है कि जो पार्कर पेन है वो 350 का परचेज बिकेगा मार्केट में, और वहीं पे इफ़ यू टॉक अबाउट राइटोमीटर तो इट्स प्राइस इज़ गोइंग टू बी 20 रुपीज़. सो हाउ इट इज़ गोइंग टू बी डिसाइड? So here we are going to learn कि how the price of a particular product is decided in the market. So that is why it is known as a price theory, क्योंकि यहाँ पे price determination को study किया जाता है. Now if you talk about the macroeconomics, so it is related to search of full employment level. It is related to determination of such level of income where we get full employment. Okay, so that is why its another name is income employment theory. Now example, so here it is related to individual income, individual output. किसी एक की income, it is a study of the output of a firm. On the other hand, if you talk about the macroeconomics, so it is the study of income of all, यानी कि we are talking about national income. Okay, and national output. National output means production of all goods and services by all producer. It is related to production of only one, and here it is related to production of all goods and services by all producers. So in this way, I think you are able to understand what is micro and what is macro. Okay, student? Now, next topic is, what do you mean by economics as a science? So economics, if you talk about the economics as a science, so it is both. It is पॉजिटिव साइंस एज वेल एज इट इज़ नॉर्मेटिव साइंस. तो ये दोनों ही है, ये पॉजिटिव साइंस भी है और नॉर्मेटिव साइंस भी है. व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय पॉजिटिव साइंस? सो वेन एवर एज अ साइंस यू स्टडी एनी थिंग इन what is, what was, what will be, so then it is considered as a positive science. Okay, and when you are going to study what ought to be, क्या होना चाहिए, what should happen, what should have happened, so this is normative science. यानी कि if you talk about the economics, so it is both, it is positive science as well as it is normative science. Positive science क्या है कि किसी भी economic situation को तीन phenomena में explain करता है. What was क्या था, what is क्या है, and what will be. Like take the example of population. What is the population in 2010? Yeah, what is the population in 1947? Okay, now what is the population, and if the growth rate is same, so what will be population? So that is the fact that we are saying कि in near future we are going to be most populated country in the world. Okay, so positive economics is just related to this much, the study of what is, what was, what will be. केवल इतने तक स्टडी अगर हम कर रहे हैं तो दिस इज नोन एज अ पॉजिटिव साइंस, जो कि किस पे बेस्ड होता है, फैक्ट और फिगर के ऊपर बेस्ड होता है. इसमें किसी का ओपिनियन या जजमेंट नहीं होता है. इफ़ यू टॉक अबाउट द नॉर्मेटिव साइंस, सो इकोनॉमिक्स एज अ नॉर्मेटिव साइंस, तो यहाँ पे केवल हम इतने स्टडी तक नहीं अपने आप को कन्फाइन करके रखते हैं कि क्या था, क्या है और क्या होगा. ओके, हियर economics is going to give the suggestion that ki this is too much, this much population is not good for our economy. Why? Because we are not having too much land, our population is increasing day by day, so it become a very critical problem for our economy. So there will be check. Okay, it should be controlled. So here in as a normative economics या normative science, we are going to discuss anything is good or not, क्या होना चाहिए, व्हाट ऑट टू बी, तो इट इज़ रिलेटेड टू व्हाट ऑट टू बी, इट इज़ रिलेटेड टू सजेशन, ओपिनियन, ओके। सो यहाँ पे कोई भी वेरिफिकेशन पॉसिबल नहीं होता है। लाइक आई गिव यू वन एग्जांपल, सपोज if you are studying कि हाँ सचिन is a good batsman, तो this is positive signs. Why? Because we can prove it with the help of the records, whatever records maintained by the Sachin Tendulkar. Okay, so on the basis of that we can see कि yes, Sachin is a good batsman या best batsman. Okay, on the other hand, suppose if a person come in media and say कि सचिन को और अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस देना चाहिए था, तो दिस इज़ व्हाट, दिस इज़ ओपिनियन, इसको हम वेरीफाई नहीं कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि बहुत से ऐसे लोग होंगे जो कंसीडर करते होंगे कि सचिन ने अपना बेस्ट दिया, बहुत से ऐसे लोग होंगे जो कहते होंगे नहीं उसे और भी अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस दे सकता था। तो दिस इज़ व्हाट, दिस इज़ रिलेटेड टू नॉर्मेटिव। जहाँ पे ओपिनियन और जजमेंट होता है दैट इज़ कंसिडर नॉर्मेटिव, और जहाँ पे फैक्चुअल चीज़ें होती हैं उसे हम पॉजिटिव साइंस कहते हैं। ओके स्टूडेंट, नाउ so we are going to discuss here with the help of the book. Positive economics deals with economy issue related to past, present and future. It deals with such economic situation which can be studied by using fact and figure. तो remember two thing, ये economic issues को study करता है on aspect of past, present and future. Okay, and it is based upon for facts and figure. Here is given some example. On the eve of independence, poverty in India affected larger percentage of population than now. Obviously we can verify this statement by the data. Okay, now second example is given कि 22% of population in India absolutely poor. Obviously it is also example of positive economics. Why? Because we can verify, हम वेरीफाई कर सकते हैं कि दिस स्टेटमेंट इज़ ट्रू आर फॉल. ओके, इफ़ यू टॉक अबाउट द सेंसस ऑफ 2011, so 21.9% people are still living under the still living below the poverty line. So in this way this statement can be verified with the help of the data. Now third example is given. If population in India continues to grow at the existing rate, the percentage of population below the poverty line will exceed 22% in the year 2020. So this इसको भी हम verify कर सकते हैं with the help of the data. Okay. Now characteristic of positive statement. What are the characteristic? First is कि these statement highlight the nature and extent of economic problem. Okay, next these statements are based upon fact and figure, and these statements are verifiable. We can verify with the help of the fact and figure. Okay, now these statements do not reflect any judgment or opinion, yani this is not related to any opinion. Now next is normative economics. What do you mean by normative economics? So normative economics is the economics of what to be. It deals with opinion of economists related to economic issue or economic problem. Okay, so here when we study any chapter, like suppose we are going to study about poverty, so we are going to study what do you mean by the poverty, what is the condition of the poverty, present, in past, and what will be in future. So this is what, this is positive economics. Why? Because all these things are based upon figure and fact. We can verify, there is no opinion. Okay, but when we are going to study at the end of the chapter, so there will be a critical evaluation. Okay, so there is opinion, this is not good, we should improvement, we had gained something, but more proper implementation should be there of all the scheme that is launched by the government. So this is what, this is normative science. Okay, now here is given some example, like Manrega will one day bring an end of the problem of unemployment to the country. So this is an opinion, we cannot verify it. Okay, Manrega is just a program of financial aid to unemployment people to rural India. Beneficiaries of Manrega will remain as unproductive worker. Manrega use taxpayer money and should therefore be stopped. So these are the opinions. Someone saying it is very good, someone is saying ki, okay, it is having sub prawns, sub crons. Okay, so there are some good effects, some bad effects. Some of them ki there should be no need to run such type of program. Why? Because it is run by the money that is paid by the people of India. So these are the opinion. Now, characteristic. What are the characteristic of normative statement? First, it is based upon judgment or opinion of a person. These statement lead to controversy and debate. Obviously, जैसे अभी हमने 3 स्टेटमेंट पढ़े ना, तो ये कंट्रोवर्सी कि मनरेगा को स्टॉप कर दो तो कंट्रोवर्सी स्टार्ट हो जाएगी, क्योंकि पूरे लोग 2 पार्ट्स में डिवाइड हो जाएंगे, जो बोलेंगे नहीं इसे स्टॉप नहीं करना चाहिए और कुछ बोलेंगे इसे स्टॉप कर देना चाहिए. तो ये कंट्रोवर्सी को लीड करता है. दीज स्टेटमेंट इंडिकेट ओपिनियन, देयरफॉर नॉट वेरीफिएबल फॉर ट्रूथ. तो ये ओपिनियन बेस होते हैं, इसीलिए इसे वेरीफाई नहीं कर सकते. इट इज़ रिलेटेड टू व्हाट ऑट टू बी, क्या होना चाहिए. ओके, नाउ हियर इज गिवन द डिफ्रेंसिएशन बिटवीन दीज. सो फर्स्ट इज डेफिनेशन. Okay, it is related to past, present and future, and this is related to what ought to be. Okay, yeah, deals with opinion. It is what was, what is, what will, would be, and it is related to what ought to be. It can be verified. Okay, and here is given, someone say population of India is more than population of China, so we can verify it and we can say no, it is not true. It is based upon fact and figure. Positive economics does not deal with opinion. On the other hand, normative economics cannot be treated as a true or false. हम उसको true या false नहीं कह सकते. Like अगर कोई कहता है कि old age pension should be stopped, तो it only lead to controversy. Normative statements are not verifiable. Why? Because it is opinion of a person. It involves judgment or opinion. Now, next topic is economy. Already I had explained you what do you mean by economy. So economy is a system by which people of an area earn their living. If you talk about the Gorakhpur, so how we are getting earning here? So by government job, by agricultural activities, by service sector, manufacturing sector. So these are as a whole is known as a economy. Okay, so there are 3 type of economy. First is market economy. It is also known as a free economy, or in which all economic activities are controlled by market forces of supply and demand. Okay, now what is central planned economy? So it is an economy where all economic activities are controlled by central authority or government, like China. If you talk about the market economy, so market economy, the example is all developed country like Britain, America. Okay, all the decisions how to produce, what to produce, for whom to produce is taken by private sector by on the basis of demand and supply. Mixed economy is one in which economic activity are governed by market force but regulated by the government, like India is having mixed economy. Okay, government is working for 21.9% people who are below the poverty line. They cannot manage themselves all the basic amenities, and private sector is working for those who can afford goods and services at market price. So in this way, economy is divided into 3 parts: market, centrally and mixed economy. Okay, I'm going to explain it in my own language so that you are able to understand in more proper manner. So here it is market economy, here it is centrally planned economy, and here it is mixed economy. Okay, so in market economy there is only private sector, in centrally planned there is only government sector. Okay, and here mixed, so here is both private sector as well as government sector. So private sector, remember, it always work for profit, maximization. Okay, now if you talk about the government sector, the government sector always work for social welfare. social welfare. Okay student, or if you talk about the mixed economy, तो private sector work for profit maximization and government sector work for social welfare. Okay, here in private in market economy या in free economy, competition, if you talk about the competition, तो competition is high. Here competition exists, here is competition. Okay, and if you talk about in a centrally planned economy, so no competition, here is no competition. क्यों नहीं कंपटीशन होता है? क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर है, वो सारे डिसीजंस को खुद लेती है, प्राइस क्या होगी, किस कमोडिटी का प्रोडक्शन करना है, कितना प्रोडक्शन करना है, तो ऑल दीज थिंग्स आर डिसाइडेड बाय द गवर्नमेंट. ओके, नाउ इफ़ यू टॉक अबाउट द मिक्स्ड इकॉनमी, सो प्राइवेट सेक्टर में कंपटीशन होगा और गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर में कंपटीशन नहीं होगा. तो आई थिंक this explanation is sufficient to understand all these three economy. Market economy means only presence of private sector. Okay, centrally planned यानी कि if you talk about the centrally planned या socialistic economy, तो there is only government sector. Mixed economy, both. Mixed का मतलब ही क्या है? दोनों, यानी it is the mixture of both. Now जो प्राइवेट सेक्टर है, दिस इज ओनली वर्क फॉर अर्निंग मैक्सिमम प्रॉफिट. वो उसी कमोडिटी का प्रोडक्शन करेंगे जिसमें उन्हें मैक्सिमम प्रॉफिट होगा. ओके, यानी फ्री में कुछ भी अवेलेबल नहीं कराएंगे. नाउ यहाँ पे कंपटीशन हाई होता है, और ये कंपटीशन हाई होना, इट इज़ गुड फॉर कंज्यूमर. वाई? बिकॉज देयर इज़ हाई कंपटीशन, तो दे वांट टू सेल मोर एंड मोर प्रोडक्ट. तो when there will be competition, तो there will be low price. Okay, if you talk about the centrally planned economy, तो there is no competition. If you talk about the mixed economy, in private sector there is competition, in government sector there is no competition. Take the example, railway. So railway is run by the government, so there is no competition. If you talk about the schools, so there is if you talk about the private schools, so there is too much competition. And if you talk about the government school, so there is no competition. So I think you are able to understand. Let me understand with the help of the proof. The centrally planned economy refers to an economy in which means of production are owned, controlled and operated by the government. Okay, these economy is also known as a socialistic economy. The government organize all economic activity and distribute various goods among the consumer on the basis of own decision. Okay, and all the decisions are taken by centrally planned authority like a planning commission, and government work for social welfare. Now market economy, so market economy is also known as a capitalistic economy. Here means of production are owned, controlled and operated by only private sector. Okay, and they work for profit maximization, and price is decided by price mechanism. Okay, now next is mixed economy. So mixed economy actually is mixture of both, so refers to a system in which public and private both are allotted their respective role for solving the central problem of economy. Okay, so here both exist together, work together. Okay, government work for poor section and private sector work for those people who can afford goods and services at a market price. Now here we can understand with the help of this difference. So the centrally are controlled planned economy. So all the decisions are taken by central authority या फिर government. Okay, and what is the motive? Motive is social welfare. Okay, here consumer sovereignty, the consumer is not sovereign, यानी कि कंज्यूमर इज़ नॉट इन बेनिफिशियल कंडीशन, क्योंकि ऑल द प्राइस, व्हाट टू प्रोड्यूस, हाउ टू प्रोड्यूस, एवरीथिंग इज डिसाइडेड बाय द government, and government only think about the poor section. So in this way, in these type economy, luxurious goods and variety of goods are not available, so this is not good for the consumer. Most resources are controlled by the government, and all the decisions are taken by the government. What will be the price? Okay. Now, public sector dominate the economic activity. If you talk about the uh, market economy, so controlled by market force यानी private sector, all decisions are taken by कीपिंग इन द माइंड प्रॉफिट मैक्सिमाइजेशन. वो जो भी काम करते हैं वो किसके लिए करते हैं? प्रॉफिट मैक्सिमाइजेशन के लिए. कोई भी कमोडिटी को कितना प्रोड्यूस करेंगे, कौन सी टेक्निक यूज़ करेंगे, ये सारी चीज़ें वो एक चीज़ को ध्यान में रख के डिसीजन लेते हैं अपने प्रॉफिट को. ओके. एंड द कंज्यूमर इज सोवर्न, यानी कि हियर it is good for consumer. Why? Because when there will be competition, so consumer are able to get good quality, more quantity at a low price. Now, most resources are controlled by people and price is decided by market force. Okay, so private sector dominate the economic activity. Now, mixed economy, so here both are government activities are governed by the free play of market force and regulated by the government. Yani there is existence of both private as well as government sector. Decisions are taken by the motive of profit by the private sector and social welfare is the motive of government sector. Okay, the consumer is sovereign. Why? Because here is availability of private sector. Okay. Now, resources are controlled by government and by the people. दोनों ही कंट्रोल करते हैं. Okay. In private sector, price is determined by market force, and in government sector, price is decided by the government sector. Both private and public, both are having dominating role. So I think you are able to understand. Thank you.